Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another remake versus original. So soon after the last one. It is currently May Day and or Beltane, whatever you want to call it, as you are watching this. Hopefully if you're watching it on Wednesday. So I thought I would do a remake versus original on something like witchy and pagan-y. But as I was thinking of movies to review, I thought, duh, The Wicker Man takes place on May Day, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the summary will be easy. I'm going to go ahead and summarize both in one shot because they are pretty much exactly alike, at least in terms of summary. Both movies follow a police officer who travels to a remote private island in search of a missing girl. When he gets there, he finds a secretive pagan community that seems bent on thwarting his investigation. That's as much as I'm gonna say without spoiling anything. So if you haven't watched either movie and you still want to watch them without spoilers, this is not the video for you. I'm sorry, I'm definitely gonna talk about spoilers. This is your warning, and if you watch after this, then that's on you. So let's talk about the original. I like the original. I think it's not like a great movie. I know that I think that's pretty much agreed upon. It's not like a fantastic movie, but it has definitely gained a cult following, you know, over the years that it's been out. It's definitely another slow burn. I know I just talked about one on Monday, but this one definitely has slow burn vibes. There's like a general creepiness and a slow building tension throughout the movie. In the end is where, you know, the action really comes in. So it's definitely a slow burn. I know for those of you that don't like slow burn movies, if you haven't seen this, it has a great payoff. Like the end is worth like the entire movie, in my opinion. The ending is fantastic. It's kind of one of those movies like I wish I could erase from my memory and rewatch again without knowing what the ending is gonna be. So when I was rewatching it this time, because I have seen the original before, I noticed much more like the pagan versus Christian themes. Maybe that's because now when I rewatch it, I'm definitely more open about being Wiccan and things like that, so maybe I just noticed it more. But it felt like Howie was kind of like at one end of the spectrum, and the people of Summer's Isle were the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So they're definitely not realistic pagans by today's standards, I would say. I feel like the majority of people definitely do not practice animal sacrifice anymore, and definitely don't practice human sacrifice. Then Howie, on the other hand, like it's almost like the freaking Crusades with him. Like he seems hell-bent on inserting his Christian beliefs in every aspect that he can. Like he's always calling the people of the island heathens, which he's not completely wrong, but I think in terms of like the fear, and if you've seen the ending, obviously you know the pagan side wins. They end up sacrificing Howie. I've talked about this before, like just how scary like something ancient is, like an ancient evil. There's just something like inherently terrifying about that. Like something so old that's been around for so long. And I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but paganism has been around longer than Christianity, so I think it wins in the scare department because it is so ancient, and you have the people of Summer's Isle definitely, I would say, practicing ancient rituals, not anything modern, even for the 70s when this movie came out. We cannot forget that iconic ending, especially since Edward Woodward, the actor who plays Detective Howie, Officer Howie, I can't remember if he's a detective or not, I don't think so. He elected not to see the actual Wicker Man structure until it came time to film the scene, which led to a now iconic scene where his character sees the Wicker Man for the first time, and his reaction is half in character, half not in character, and it's legendary. So in terms of the remake, this was the first time I was watching it when I sat down to watch it to do this review. So I hadn't seen it before. I had seen the bee scene, the iconic bee scene, which I'm gonna get to in a little bit. I have a little bit of a story about that one. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know what I'm gonna talk about. I can see why people don't like this movie. It's laughably bad, and Nick Cage is in prime overacting mode. Like, I don't know what direction he was given or what he decided to do on his own, but it was another level of overacting. I did see something on IMDb in the trivia. If I can find like a better source for that, I'll put it up on the screen. I saw that apparently Nick Cage had said he didn't understand the bad reviews on the movie because they filmed it with the intention of it being an absurdist black comedy. I don't know that that was the intention. Just to me, I feel like that's more of an excuse because you got called out on an unintentionally funny performance. I know some people see the original as kind of funny, like it's a little bit like cringy and a little bit funny, but whether you do find it funny or not, like the original, whether you find it funny or not, I think that's kind of up to you, but I don't think it was really meant to be funny. So I just don't understand the logic of like why you would film a remake of this movie with the intention of it being like absurd. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm kind of like, sounds like an excuse. So the bee scene, the infamous bee scene.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Open my eyes! Eyes! Ah!
I did not know, because I have never seen this remake before, I did not know that that was a second ending. So apparently there are at least 2 endings to this movie. The one I saw on Amazon Video was not showing that ending because it came time and I knew the bee scene was coming up and right where I thought it should be didn't happen. If I can find a clip of the ending that I did see, I'll put it up right now so you can see. But basically what happens is they confront him. They have the typical villain monologue where they explain everything, which I kind of hate, but you know, whatever. They explain everything. And then it just cuts to them carrying Nick Cage's character up to the Wicker Man. And there's like a voiceover where you hear them breaking his legs and stuff, which is, I think was kind of just meant to bridge that gap. It's like, this is what happened, but we're not gonna show it to you to save time or something. And then after he's burned alive in the Wicker Man, it cuts to a 6 months later scene where Willow and that other girl that works in the inn or whatever are scoping out 2 other guys to, you know, get for a sacrifice, and James Franco has like a little cameo in it. And so I guess that was the ending I saw, and I guess in the ending with the bee scene, you get the bee scene, and then he's burned alive in the Wicker Man, and then there's no 6 months later scene. To my knowledge, that's what the internet has told me. Which might be true, I don't know, because when I asked on Instagram, some of you guys were confused when I said there was no bee scene. Some of you guys thought I was watching the original, or some of you guys didn't understand, and I was like, no, you guys, it's a different ending, I guess. I know a lot of people enjoy this movie for a laugh. Like, there are people that just think it's bad, and then other people that do enjoy it to an extent because it's funny. I don't know, for some reason I just like, I could not watch it that way. Like, I just felt like, I thought the gender thing was a little bit, it kind of, I don't know, it just like rubbed me the wrong way, I guess. So in the original, the island is definitely more run by men. In this remake, they definitely make it a point to show you that the island is run by women. Summer Isle, or Summer's Isle. Sorry, they changed the name. I read on IMDb because they thought it'd be easier for Americans to pronounce if it was Summer's Isle. So I don't know what I've been saying this entire time. It's Summer Isle in the original. It's Summer's Isle with an extra S in there in the remake. The whole interaction that Lady Summer's Isle and Nick Cage's character have where they're talking about this and the fact that, you know, Nick Cage brings up like, you hate men or something like that, and Lady Summer's Isle explains that they don't, they love their men, and but she kind of explains that they're mostly there to procreate, and I guess to do manual labor, because the only time you ever really see them is when they're doing like manual labor. They have their tongues cut out and things like that, but they kind of make it seem like the men don't want to be there. But then I feel like that's kind of a plot hole, because I mean, I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything, this is just biology. The men could easily just physically overpower the women, right? Because most of them are either older and like out of shape, or they're just extremely thin and just like waifish, and and the rest of them are children. So like, I feel like the men could easily escape if they really wanted to. Then at the end of the movie, Nick Cage goes around just literally punching every woman that gets in his way. I mean, I feel like in a way you could probably maybe try and read this movie as empowering, but to me it just seems like the director is just afraid of, or the writer or somebody was just afraid of women in power, because like they just like created this like nightmare island of where women are in charge, and this is like their personal nightmare of what it would be like if women ran the world or something. And then the remake just added in extra stuff that I feel like was just not needed, like that whole love interest thing. I feel like the whole luring of the men to the island, like by using the women, was a little bit, it again just kind of goes back to that, like I feel like the writer or the director or somebody is just afraid of women in power, and that's what that was. It was so unnecessary. Like the original works just fine with Officer Howie arriving at the island right at the beginning. So overall, obviously I like the original way more than I like this remake. I know a lot of people do enjoy the remake and it's so bad it's good way, but maybe I think it's maybe just because I'm not really that big of a Nick Cage fan. So my rating of the original is a solid 4 out of 5, where my rating of the remake is a 1 out of 5. Same thing I did last time. I'll put the original scores over here and the remake's scores over here. So in terms of the original, on IMDb it has a 7.6 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes it has an 88% critic score, and that's out of 52 reviews, and an 82% audience score, and that's out of over 43,000 reviews. And then on Letterboxd it has a 3.9 out of 5, and it looked like most of you agreed. Everyone was like between like a 3 and a 4 out of 5. In terms of the remake, on IMDb it has a 3.7 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes it has a 15% critic score, and that's out of 107 reviews, and a 17% audience score, and that's out of 88,000 reviews. Then on Letterboxd it has a 1.7 out of 5, and most of you also agree. It's a lot of half stars to 1 stars, although I saw a few higher ones, and it looked like the ones that did give it a higher rating also wrote a review, and they made a point to say in their review that it was because of the laugh factor, the funny factor. So if you've seen both or just one of the Wicker Man movies, let me know in the comments section down below what you thought about it. As always, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can ring that notification bell down there to be notified every time I post a video. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!
This video is brought to you by all these lovely creepy patron peeps that you see listed on the left-hand side of the screen. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link that is in the description of this video. No pressure, but it's there if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye!